Welcome to Gamer Dad Podcast, where we talk about all things Magic the Gathering. We strive to make things fun, fit it into our busy lives, families, keep things casual, and show you how you can too. I'm Gamer Dad Bob, a nearly 30-year Magic the Gathering veteran who has been playing formats from Legacy to Standard to Commander, mostly Commander now. Jesse tells me I build Commander decks that I don't think are very good, but as it turns out, they're actually pretty strong. I guess I build good Commander decks. I'm an IT manager, lover of sports, role-playing games, and father of one very active 4-year-old who I hope someday how to teach how to play cards, as he calls them.
And I'm Jesse Hoagie. I'm also a Magic veteran of almost 30 years, and I'm also a IT manager. Go figure. I like taking existing decks and tweaking them to my liking or match whatever meta that I'm playing in. The people that I play local here can attest to that, and they're not too happy with it. I play almost any game I can. Doesn't matter the genre. I play guitar, mostly heavy metal music, and I have 2 daughters and a new puppy that hopefully you won't be hearing in the background.
Awesome. So this month, we are both honored and very excited to be hosting one of our favorites. I mean, let's face it, everyone's favorite content creator.
Yeah, right.
MTG Malone, Matches Malone, the master of mono black. Malone has about 5,200 and growing Twitch followers, a thriving YouTube channel with almost 3,300 followers, and over 1,100 videos published. He's a member of Team Ultimate Guard, has his own band, and is an all-around awesome human being. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome for welcoming me. I was just about to say welcome yourself, but it doesn't make sense. I'm still German sometimes. People tend to forget it, but yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's very cool. It's been a long time I've done a podcast, so very excited.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So I'm calling this month's episode New Guys. So as of October 1st, our 1 year of consistent streaming will be hitting. So we've managed to accumulate some followers along the way. We're very still much new to the scene, right? So we wanted to get one of our favorite streamers and YouTubers to talk a little bit more about what it's like to be the new guy. So I'm going to ask you to remember what it was like being the new guy. And we want to talk about like do's, don'ts, tips, tricks, common pitfalls, things that you can get in trouble with, and the keys that have been to your success. And we truly believe that you are and have been successful in what you're doing.
First off, thanks. I appreciate the kind words. And it's crazy to me that I'm anyone's favorite but my mom's. So yeah, that's a huge honor. And I still feel like the new guy from time to time. So I would say that I think I can talk about that. Shouldn't be a problem.
So first question is probably the hardest you're going to be answering all day is why us? Why did you agree to come on our show?
Well, first of all, as I said, it's been a long time that I did a podcast. So I wanted to do a podcast. That's like the smallest reason I had for it. Then I know you both from my streams and my videos when you like leave comments. So I think, as we're a community all together, as Magic the Gathering, like a lot of people are like, yeah, it's the Gathering and all of that. And I kind of agree, even though that for me, it's like I mostly play online due to my job as being a content creator and everything. I still play in person and I love playing in person, but I still think the Gathering is very important. And I'm super happy about the community that we achieved to build around my channel. And I would never say that I achieved to build around my channel because I'm just one person. But all of you are part of my community, and I always want to give back to the people that are giving so much energy to me, and you two are most certainly part of that. So I'm very happy to be here. And if I can help out in any way, that's what I will be doing.
You definitely make it easy to share that energy, right? What we see from you is contagious most days and everything. So it's easy to be enthusiastic and contribute in chat. I know Jesse is he's been much more prevalent in your stream than I have.
I don't worry about it. I still know.
You definitely make it easy for us. So if you could take us through like that big moment in your life, what was that turning point where you said, I'm going to become a Magic the Gathering content creator, right? You dropped that video, right, of your intro into the scene, but like, what was that like? Did you have a full-time job at the time? Was it scary? How much were you planning? Did you have everything planned out ahead of time? What was your living situation? What platform did you start on? Was it strictly just YouTube content? Take us through that start to finish on how you entered the scene.
So I think I started about this year will be my 4-year anniversary. Yeah, with all the, like you said, 1,100 videos, right? I always lose track. These kind of numbers are not that important to me. I started then 4 years ago, more or less. I had like a very sad family situation and all of that where people passed away. And for some reason, when my grandfather died, there was like the moment when I said, life actually is too short to just don't do the things you find important in life. And like years ago, I already had this dream of doing like a YouTube channel and everything. And with another friend of mine from Germany, we were like, we want to make this channel called Nerd Herd. And we had like the intro song, and we already had like the intro video, and we had like the background for the green screen. And I still have all of these things. I still have them. And it was crazy, but we never actually got to record an actual video. But it was always a dream of mine. And when I started playing Magic, of course, I watched CGB, Mono Black Magic, MTG Arena Original Decks also was one of the people that I watched. And so I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And me and my girlfriend, like, we moved to another town, like 3.5 hours away from my hometown. So I also didn't see my band that often, because when we met, I had to travel a lot and always like take 2 or 3 days to like just get 1 or 2 band practices in, hopefully also concert. And so it was like, I really, really want a creative output. And making videos by itself was always something that I really enjoyed. Like all the videos that you find of my band, I was the one that made them. So even though I maybe didn't record them because I was on stage, obviously, I still got all the material, because the people that were like, okay, here's the stuff, just do with it whatever you want. It was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have no clue. But actually, I also did like a video with a stop motion video with like a figurine and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it took me like 2 weeks, 12 pictures per second, and the video is like 5 minutes long. So you can imagine it was a lot of pictures taken. And I think that was a time where I consumed more caffeine than anything else in my entire life. And so that was something that I really, really enjoyed. And what for me is always important is like also the kind of quality. So I decided, you know what, tomorrow I'm just going to sit down and record a video. But before I did that, I sat down and made an intro, because I don't know why. That's always like my first thing. And the intro I had was like super cheap, but good enough. It was not only good, it was good enough. So I had like my old logo that was appearing. The song was still the same. The song that I'm using since day one is still the same. And it was some royalty-free riff that I found online, and it was like, okay, if it's free, I'm going to use it. And I never got in trouble for it, so don't tell anyone. And so I just did an intro for that. And it was like, for me, the most important thing, I think, is that when people see my content, that the quality is so good that they think it could be already an established channel, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that they see the video and it's not like, ooh, sound is garbage, ooh, quality is garbage, because that is something that will turn people off, because they will not stay for somebody they don't know, that they have no like emotional value or anything, just because the deck is okay. It's not something that people will do. So already I'm in a niche. I'm doing Magic content, which there's not too many people watching and worldwide. And then I do arena content, which is also niche inside the niche, because it's mostly standard. And like there's a lot of people that play like Modern, Legacy, Commander, all of that. Like Commander shows are doing so well because there's so many people playing Commander. But how many? Yeah, exactly. Me as well.
Yeah.
So I love Commander. The only reason I don't have a Commander show, but I will get to that. So already like that is something where you're in a niche, inside a niche, inside a niche, because they could just go watch CGB, they could just go watch MTG Arena Original Decks or whoever was big at the time. And so I want to at least give them a quality that they deserve, so that they would stick and maybe say quality was super nice. But when you go back to my very first video, like there was no energy at all. Like literally I was sitting there like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. My English was not as good as now back then. I repeated the same words a lot of times. So I had like a lot of mannerisms that I had to get rid of. And then one day I did a video about Boros dogs, dog tribal, which was a thing I think in M19 or in M20. I don't remember.
Jesse, you beat me up with that deck. That was with that the Saint Bernard Boros card that absolutely wrecked me in standard. Jesse played that
with the dog, the pack leader or whatever.
Yes,
yes, pack leader.
Yeah. That was an amazing card. And that was the first time where I had so much fun recording, where I like became very energetic. And from then on out, I was like, okay, that's the minimum of bar that I want to set in energy. And I put so much effort also in my thumbnails, which was super unnecessary. Like every thumbnail took me like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Like I recorded the videos in the morning. I did the thumbnails, I did the rendering and all of that. My computer was garbage, absolute garbage. Everything I did took me like way longer than it should. Rendering a 45-minute video took me 1.5 hours. Now I'm to a point where, first off, I have an editor, which I'm very, very grateful for, because when I leave, that's a lot of work that I don't have to do beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a blessing to have that, because back then, like when I wanted to leave for a week to play concerts or whatever, I had to record 14 videos in 7 days, prepare all the thumbnails, do all the rendering, like upload it all of that stuff. And yeah, then a second point that was very important to me was also being family friendly, because I knew if ever, for whatever reason, people will like what I do, and I get a sponsor or like I can get monetized on YouTube or whatever, because that's not the first thing you should think about. It's like do it for fun because you love what you do, and people will like see if you love it or not and then realize it. But I thought, being family friendly would be a very good idea, because usually I curse like a sailor. Like if you listen to my music, like it's full of F words and S that and whatever. I don't mind that, but I think that there's always people that maybe are watching with their children, Just imagine you're like regular dude sitting in his living room watching some MTG Malone, and then the child walks in asking, Daddy, what's up? And I'm just sitting there cursing like a sailor. They would just stop watching the channel, So
your
there's
stream
another
that you were
demographic
just
there.
in, I was watching with my kids. The one just
Oh yeah,
like
do you see?
an hour
You
ago.
see,
So,
that's
yeah.
exactly. And you know how many people tell me I'm so happy that you're family friendly because I can watch this with my kids. And I don't mind, for me it's the same. If people curse, I don't care. I'm an adult, I can curse if I want to. But I still know how it is, and so yeah, back then I also had a job, but it wasn't full time. So I was actually able to like do the both things at the same time. I also studied back then, so I was still in university, but it was like remote because of the whole Corona situation and all of that. So everything was a little bit crazy. And then after I think a year and a half, where I consistently like I could monetize my channel after like 2 or 3 months already, which was insane.
Wow.
Because you need like 1,000
Yeah.
people and like 4,000 hours of watch time. I got that really, really fast. And yeah, like I also worked with other content creators to get my name out there. I worked with, sadly, he stopped doing content because life got more important. But with Titan Smash, for example, then from Europe, there was Philippa, I did a lot of stuff with a lot of people, and I enjoyed it very much. And it's getting harder and harder because like I also do streaming now. Back then I only did the videos. And then there was a point where I realized I can do this like for a living actually, and I don't have to keep the other job. And because in the end, what I will make from both the things will be so much that I will lose what I made from the taxes. And it's not like I'm rich, okay? I mean, look at me. I'm not walking around in like Armani clothes or whatever. I'm happy that I can afford like a Psyduck shirt for $30, That is like, I still live like very modest, and I'm very lucky to have like a girlfriend that with her job was able to keep us afloat for 2 to 3 months until like the situation stabilized and everything. And it didn't hurt her at all. So I was very, very lucky with that. And I don't think everybody has that luck. But you should capitalize on that luck if it presents it to yourself. And that was something that happened. And I think it's a risk to do it. And also, like, there was a certain point where sitting alone in my room talking only to myself kind of was bad for my mental health. And that was like more or less a year ago when it started. And it was like every video that didn't do as well as the others was like my world was crumbling, and I was like, oh, what's happening? This is so depressing. Why do people not watch my channel anymore? Why do they choose to watch this channel and not mine? Why do they, all of these stupid questions that are normal. It's absolutely normal to have these questions, to have doubts and all of that, but you should not let them dictate your well-being. And so I decided for myself, I will start streaming so that I'm not alone in the room anymore while I'm recording. Because my thought was always, if people are in the streams, will they even watch the video later? And yeah, they still do. There's still so many people that are not in stream, and let's say the 200 people that I'm losing because of stream, they're still watching the stream, and I get monetized on that. So I'm not really losing anything on each end. So yeah, and that was for me the best decision, starting streaming like more or less this year, beginning of the year, I started streaming, and it was the best decision. Absolutely. Like I got affiliation status right away. Like I streamed for a week, and I could already apply because like I did some streams before, like for the early access events and all of that. And yeah, that is more or less the story from day one until now. It was just one big block of time that I don't know where it went, and now I'm here.
It goes by. It certainly goes by fast. So,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you talked about a lot of the things that have gone through my head as I've been streaming and everything. The biggest difference is that Jesse and I, right? We have to have these jobs. We married teachers, and as you know, teachers are not well paid in the United States.
Now nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that confirmed. Teachers are second-class citizens of the
Why
world, right?
ever?
Which is just criminal on its own. But that's not what this podcast is about. So
Still a valid point. Still a valid point.
Yes. So we very much have to keep our full-time jobs, and I crunched some numbers as I was entering into this, and I said I'd have to be like one of the most popular Twitch streamers ever to break even on what I'm doing, and that's not going to happen overnight at all, if at all, right? You look at guys like Crokies, who has thousands of people in at a time and everything, and that's the numbers I would need to just up and quit my job. I talked to Voxy when we were in Amsterdam. I was like, what were you doing? I was an esthetician, and then the pandemic happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
So she went from skincare to streaming, so
It's
life
just the same.
circumstances it's the same. Life circumstances happen that force us to do something sometimes, and then with people with that kind of charisma and everything, and people who want the cursing like a sailor content with Voxy, because it's her thing, right?
Absolutely.
They go to that. You look at people like Amy, who literally worked for Amazon. She quit. She couldn't do it anymore. Mental health, very important. And she is also thriving. So different circumstances I always find very interesting when I talk to different content creators. I watched CGB's interview with Shivam. We're almost the same person, except he had an entrepreneurial aspect out of college, and I spent a year unemployed trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life. We're pretty much the same age, same degree, same everything. He just lives in Michigan. I now live in North Carolina. It's just absolutely wild. So that's really interesting that, that's how you start things. And like you said, it's a risk, which is scary. You're taking a chance on your own well-being. You have to feed yourself. You have to pay rent or mortgage or whatever. And you looked at all of that and you said, yeah, I can make this work.
I mean, I'm super privileged to live in Germany. I think if I wouldn't be doing well, there would be some measures and, just from the state that would help me.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be much. And probably they wouldn't also give me too much because of my girlfriend's job and everything. But still, I was super lucky that I was able to do this. And the thing is, I think even if I wouldn't have had the situation, I would have found a way to make it work because it was really a big dream of mine. And as I said, my family situation was very sad and everything. And I was deciding for myself, I don't want to waste any more time, When I started, I was 33 years old, more or less. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm old, older than I was before, obviously, but it still feels like that, And you look at other people that are doing stuff and you're like, okay, this is like a 23-year-old person
that
is doing so much already. And of course, they have another upbringing, They have maybe parents that really, really supported them in what they were doing. And not only okay, yeah, I want you to be able to live your dream, so do whatever you want to do. But more okay, we live in the US, so I already have another mindset maybe than a German parent. So instead of I just want my children to be happy, I want my children to already make money when they're 5 years old because that's just the way it is, living the dream. And there's a lot of people that are like that, and that are famous when they're 18 already. And it should never stop you, though, from living your dreams. And I mean, I have a band and I really love the band, but I had to realize at a certain point that nobody in the band, apart from maybe the guitar player, would have put in the work that is necessary to go a step above. And that's fine with me, I mean, I always have the dream to make music and I'm happy that I can do it. I don't mind if there's 50 people or 5,000. It's no difference for me. I will always bring the same energy, even more if there's less, so that they're even happier. Yeah, that's a huge risk, of course.
Yeah. Just first, it's funny that you mentioned your intro music because I always say to Bob how I love your intro. I actually thought it was your band that did that.
Oh no, I wish.
Royalty free.
I wish they would do anything for me.
So how did you figure out what it would take for your streaming setup? Like you mentioned how quality was something that you were making sure that it was good quality. It was sound was good. What did it take to get to the point where you were satisfied?
So when I started, I had a normal webcam. I don't even know what webcam I used back then. And so I was Googling, okay, what webcam do I need? What is good for beginners, but still good enough so that it looks good? And so I checked and it was yeah, there's this StreamCam from Logitech. It's just called Logitech StreamCam. It's this white, whatever. I have it still here for my Commander gameplay and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And but it was still $100. And I was like, yeah, I don't have $100. And then there was this one dude, his name on YouTube and everything is Grandolph. It was I want to send you $50. to support what you're doing because I really love what you're doing and I really appreciate what you're doing. I was like, dude, think about it, please. Because for me, it was a lot, it was like, think about it, please. And if I will ask you again, or you can write me again in 2 days. And if you're still down to do it, I will take your money gladly. But I'm like, I feel bad about taking donations or whatever, not because of pride or anything, just because it's weird, it's just a random dude coming up to you is $50. Like, okay, there's a lot of people that would just be like, okay, thanks, bye. But I was like, no, I don't know about that. And after 2 days, he was still insistent. And then, yeah, from that money, I put like 50 of my own money on it. And I was like, okay, I can afford this camera now. And I bought that camera and I got myself like for $60, like a wraparound green screen for the chair that you can just like put there. And when I moved too much, there was no green screen. And I was super lucky that I had like an external sound card already that was given to me by my brother like 7 years ago or something like that I could use for a normal microphone because this is the microphone I'm using. Like I'm just using like my normal singing Shure Beta microphone that I use on stage. I use that for everything I do. And I talked to a friend of mine. He's like tech sound guy. Like he also does all the mixing of our music and he's very good in what he does. He was like, seriously, dude, like you don't need another microphone. This is good enough. It's not only good enough, but it's like one of the best things you can use. It's good for your voice, all of that. And then I sat down with people that could help me like fine tuning the sound because I didn't want it to be bad. I sat down and watched so many videos about green screening because my hair is crazy and it's so hard to green screen. So I just had to come to a point where I said, okay, screw it. It's not going to work. I will just have always like a green shimmering in my hair or whatever. So yeah, that is that. And then like from day to day, I always try to improve the quality. And I think I did well with what I had. And the next camera that I bought was beginning of this year. I was able to invest like a little bit of money and I got myself like this Sony Alpha for $500, which is insane to me to think that I spent so much money on something. The same with my computer. I was super lucky that I was able to do some videos for Wizards MTG Arena account. It just came to me. At the beginning, I thought it was a scam. So I was like, okay, I know that CGB did some videos for them. So I sent a message on Discord and asked, do you know if this is a scam or if I'm getting scammed? He was like, no, it's not a scam. You're fine. I know her. She's a good friend of mine. And so I did like some videos for the channel over the span of a year. And so I was able to buy myself a new computer for $2,000, which also like blew my mind just to do something crazy like that because it's still expenses. Yes, there are business expenses, but because I actually have to have a business from day one. The moment I made my first cent, apart from the donation that the dude gave me. But the first moment I did, like when I was like, okay, I want to be an affiliated on YouTube, I had to have a business in Germany. There is no way around it. They will like absolutely destroy you if you don't. Like the tax system in Germany is very, very strict. So it's complicated, but fair, let's say. So yeah, business expenses. And I have to think about it like that. But the good part is about business expenses. Magic cards are business expenses.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Darn. So yeah, that is something that is the main reason why you should have a channel, just to write about this business expense.
Well, I definitely noticed the uptick in the quality because I remember when you went to the backdrop you have now, I remember thinking, man, his quality is so much better now. It looks like amazing.
Oh yeah, so I spent like 2 days to build all of this. Like
yeah.
I brought this like my comic book shelf that is in the background and all the games that I have there now. They were all just in the other room. And my room is like 8 square meters. I don't know how much that is in feet, but it's not a lot. It's like if you take 8 steps, you walk twice to my room. So yeah, that is what it is. Like from one end to the other, I almost touch my walls when I just like enlarge. So I live in a small room enclosed here, but it's good. Like everything I did here, I did on my own and I started on my own. And I think that's the thing that people have to realize. At the beginning is like a buttload of work that you just have to put in yourself. Nobody will be there to help you. Why should they? Nobody can explain to you anything because nobody knows nothing about what you're doing. Because who is a YouTuber in your surroundings? Who do you go to and ask for like advice? The only advice you could get is like online. And I did a lot of that and I took from it what I thought was valuable. And I think that every person has to kind of do that for themselves. But it's not easy and you really have to want it. And it's not about the money or like what equipment you have, but it's how you use it. And you can like get a perfect sound of a crappy guitar if you know how to play the guitar. If you don't know how to play it, like even like a $20,000 guitar will not help you.
Yeah, I noticed that myself because like I'm a guitar player and I've played like the guitars I have like not expensive ones. I think the most expensive one is like $1,500. And I've played like $5,000 PRS guitars. And it's like I sound bad no matter what one I use, so it doesn't matter.
I know that feeling. I was gifted a guitar, like I was able to buy it for like cheap, even though it wasn't cheap at all, but I was like able to just give the dude like $50 each month for over a year and even more. But I still like, I love the guitar, but I was just as good on it as on my Squire, so it was just like whatever, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't change a thing.
So that kind of goes into the next question, like what do you do for fun when you're not streaming? I know obviously you have the band and you said
Oh yeah, like
games and
sadly the band thing is like maybe once a month now. Before we met like 2 to 3 times a week because like we were also very good friends and we just wanted to hang out as well. And we also like won band contests, like big contests. It was the whole region in Germany, like let's say the state was involved, and we were sent as the winners of our state to the main thing. And the only reason like they didn't like they told us literally, yeah, we couldn't like treat you as the others because 2 of your band are already like over 30 and all the others are kids like 18, 19 years old. So we're giving them a little bit more credit, you know. Still our bass player got best instrumentalist award, which was pretty cool because they told us they were thinking that we were using tracks for the bass because they wouldn't believe what he's playing because he's crazy good.
Wow.
Like he's crazy good. So they went to the technician and said, "Can you give me the sound of the bass player?" And put it on his ears, and we're like, "He's actually playing that." So yeah. So my band is crazy good. I'm like the band, not me. The band. Like all of them are top-notch musicians. So I'm very excited that I can still do this. But as I said, it's like maybe once a month a thing, and with the whole like Corona situation also like it slowed down a lot. So yeah, I do that. I play a lot of board games. So as you can see, I have my board games back here. They're mostly my girlfriend's board games. Like as much as I'm into Magic, she's into board games. So when I go over and she sees what I'm watching, it's like either Hearthstone Battlegrounds, which I love to play, or Magic videos or something like that. And she's always watching board game videos. So we're also playing board games later. So that is something I love. Then Magic. Like I still love playing Magic also in my free time. I will mostly play Commander in my free time because as I'm a huge fan of board games, I think that Commander is just a board gamiest version of Magic there is, if that makes sense. Like you sit down with 3 other people, you have the whole table and you just have fun and you play 2 to 3 games each night and stuff happens and you politic and you laugh and you cry and you call each other names and you're mad at somebody, you get salty and stuff like that. You know, just just like a normal board game night. You know, imagine playing Monopoly. That is exactly that. Nobody wants to play Monopoly with me. I always ask people, but they're a garbage game. And I was like, okay, whatever. But I just wanted something simple. And then Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I don't know why. Saw my stats lately, and I spent more than 1,000 hours already playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds, which I could not believe. It's a freaking auto battler. If you don't know the game, it's just like
I know. I used to play Hearthstone.
Yeah, but it's the auto battler, so it's not Hearthstone itself. That's how I started actually playing Magic. I was playing Hearthstone, and a friend of mine came and was like, "If you like Hearthstone, you will love Magic." I was like, "Yeah, whatever, blah blah blah." People, of course, would say that, you know, but he was right. Like, I couldn't play Hearthstone afterwards. It was just too streamlined and too like, you know, this feeling of not being able to interact with people during their turn and everything. I was just missing that.
Yeah,
I don't say it's a bad game. Not at all.
That's why I couldn't get deep into Hearthstone as someone who'd played Magic as long as I had and a control player. Hearthstone I couldn't do it. Jesse, on the other hand, was really into it. He had some great runs and everything when it first came out.
Yeah, there's a lot of RNG with it. Like there's a lot of stuff that's not in your control. So it's definitely not Magic, that's for sure.
Dude, the Shadowwalk meta, I never want to go back to watching anything as boring as that. Like you just sit there, like it was a creature that, like, you know, you have like enter the battlefield effect in Hearthstone as well. And it was a creature when you played it, it was just like you repeat all of your ETBs that you did the whole game, but with random targets. And every time that it triggered, like every ETB it repeated, it said its sound line. So it was just like speaking the whole time, doing the thing.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
It was like turns have timers in Hearthstone. And once the timers run out and it goes to your opponent's turn, their timer can run out as well during their turn, and they're not able to do anything because your ETBs are still triggering the whole time. It was like, that was the moment where I said, okay, that's just too much. I can't. It's too much. I don't want to live this life.
1,000 tally triggers or something.
Yeah, imagine just that. And you have to like, at least the computer does it for you. So you don't have to like roll the dice or whatever, but still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So as you got into everything, tell us how you started working with Ultimate Guard, right? I know they have headquartered in Germany, correct?
Yes.
So did they go, holy crap, we have German
No.
YouTuber, streamer, I need this guy on my roster right now.
I wish. So when I was like streaming doing YouTube for a year, I think, there was this Ultimate Guard Content Creator Charity Cup that was like all the big names in German content creation came together and did just a Magic tournament online on Arena. And it was like, okay, you get 3 legends, 3 uncommon legends, and you build your deck around it. Like not Commander, but this is like the deck you have to build. Only uncommons. This was the format that I was in, and I was super lucky to get like the wild card slot because I was on nobody's radar back then. Like, why should I, And I want to be, but I was on nobody's radar. So I remember that I got Sir Conrad, and I was like, okay, I have to build this. So
Commander All-Star.
Yeah. I hate that card in Commander. But I'm getting sidetracked here. And then there was like the winner gets like a 1-year sponsorship, which means like they would get product. They would be officially in the sponsorship, So product means like they would get like the bag, they would get like the sleeves, they would get like deck boxes, whatever they need. And after the tournament, which I lost, sadly, I think I went 6th or 5th or something like that. I wrote them a letter like where I was like, I want to try to get sponsored by them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote him a letter and I talked to a friend of mine. And he's very much into finances also. MTG with Patrick, like it's his channel and he mostly talks about finances. Is it worth to buy this? Should you invest in that? Blah, blah, blah. And people know him very well. And in the scene, he's like the biggest in Germany we have. He's no Rudy. He's no Rudy, but for Germany, which is like 5th of what the US is, it's still pretty good. So I wrote him a letter and I asked him, can I ask for money? Oh, what could I ask for? And so they gave me a number, said, yeah, you could ask for that, no problem. And they were like, yeah, sorry, but after the tournament, now we have this new sponsorship with dude that won, and we don't have a space right now. And I was like, okay, whatever, if you don't want me, I don't care, I cared, but I acted like I didn't. So then it was Nerd Girl. Back then it was Degenerate Gaming. Now it's Top Deck Gaming, I think, where it was like this accumulation of streamers and content creators that were just like, because of the sheer numbers, she could get very good sponsorships in. And then we would like divide it depending on how many people were watching. And, she did a very, very good job at that. But then I sent Ultimate Guard another letter after like a year afterwards. I sent him another letter, like after the next Content Creator Cup, where I was invited. I didn't get the wild card. I was actually invited, which was pretty huge for me. And there was a new dude taking care of sponsorships. And I asked him if I could get like a meeting or whatever. And we're like, yeah, of course, why not? And so we met and I presented them my numbers and I was like, okay, this is what I would like to get. This is what I would like to do for you. They told me what they would like expect from me and everything. And then we just virtually shook hands. They sent me a contract. And since then, I'm very proud to be part of Team Ultimate Guard. And the reason why I only have this one sponsor is not because other people didn't ask me. I get like sponsorship offers a lot, like small things, especially like on Stream Elements. I don't know, you get like stuff like Dragon Age, Raid Shadow Legends, what is called Hello Fresh, whatever, all these things.
Yep.
I don't care about that. Like, I would never take a sponsorship that I don't stand 100% behind. And for me, Ultimate Guard is exactly that. Like, I tested like a lot of products, and Ultimate Guard was the one that I got stuck with, where I thought, oh, these products are so good. When I realized they were also in Germany, there was also a huge part for me, like not only because of taxes and everything, makes everything so much easier, but also because it was like, okay, kind of cool, like it's nothing to do with national pride or whatever. I don't give an F about anything like that. Like really, I'm half German, half Italian. I grew up in Europe. For me, it's just like we're one big community all around the world. Do whatever you want. If you're like proud of your country for whatever reason that you were born there out of sheer coincidence, be that. But for me, it was still cool. It's like a cook buying regional products.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was like, okay, there is no chain of like waiting to get a product from China or from whatever, it will be produced here. And like the boulders, which are my favorite product, like they have these return to earth boulders.
We have
half
those.
of it.
We have those, yeah.
They're the best product of them. They're like 97% recycled material.
Love
and I
those.
was like, I love that. And then they start doing even more. Like they start sponsoring the world champion. They start collaborations with Dominic Meyer and stuff. Like, I mean, look at this deck box. How can you not be proud to like, represent something like that? And every like event that I go to that Ultimate Guard is sponsoring, I'm also doing You see, perfect deck boxes. I'm also doing like the meet and beat, so you can always like encounter all of your favorite content creators. And they're doing so much for the community, and it's insane. So I'm very, very proud to be part of that. And I don't really see him as a sponsor, but really as like we're actually friends now. Like all of the people that like we were friends before already in the community, in the German community, but now they also work at Ultimate Guard, and we still have had this. We still can talk to each other normally. It's not like, could I please get a meeting, and then maybe we can set something up, and then my lawyers will talk to your lawyers. I'm my lawyer, so but stuff like that. So that just doesn't happen. So it's very familiar, if you say that in English as well. Like it's very like
Yep.
we're very close, and I think I'm super lucky to have that. And I'm not saying that because they're paying me money, but I'm saying that because I actually believe it. And I wouldn't take their money if I wouldn't believe in that.
It's funny that you say that, right? Because I've absolutely gravitated toward Ultimate Guard products myself for the exact same reasons you mentioned, right? The return to earth, right? I don't like the plastic footprint on these things, so why not use these recycled things? I converted Jesse over to katana sleeves.
They're the best sleeves.
Holy cow, man! They just
never rip.
They are just incredible sleeves. So to your point, like I wouldn't want a sponsorship ever on a product that I just had no interest in. HelloFresh, for example. Sorry if you're watching or listening here, but like, that's just
that's not even sorry.
to your point, right? That's I'm not doing bad enough where I would have to shill for anyone, and that's kind of how I would approach things as well. I really like how you feel about that and the way that you approached Ultimate Guard, and they said, yeah, I like this guy too. And now you've got a partnership with them more than just a sponsorship sort of
exactly
situation, right?
Exactly.
And in a partnership, when one person wins, the other person wins.
Absolutely.
And that's what you want out of a sponsor.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% true. And once more, like, I'm not even sorry, like the Fume came up to me and they like have these wooden sticks that you can smoke, but they're like, there's no smoke, there's just taste. And I was like, children watching my channel, why should I sell something that resembles a cigarette,
Yeah.
It's just like introducing them to drugs. Like, I don't do that with children,
Yep.
If you're an adult, do whatever you want. Like, I mean, it's your life. Just jump off of a bridge if you have to. If that's like your decision, just don't hurt anyone, But for children, we still have the responsibility, even though it's not mine. But if I want to like jaywalk, like in Germany, it's not like that big of a crime if you jaywalk. I know that in the US it's different.
It can be.
Like one of the first things I did back then in 2010 when I visited the US for the first time was like looking around and saying, I'm committing a crime now and I jaywalk just because I knew that it was a big thing. But here in Germany, like if I see children, I'm not jaywalking, it's not because I'm like, oh, we have to protect the children, but it's like, it's such a small thing for you. Why bother other people with it, If the child then walks over the street and gets run over, it's your fault. Like, could you ever live with that? No. Never.
I saw that guy do it. Why can't I?
Exactly. That bearded dude did it. It's his fault. And then I would just run away, and but you know what I mean? Like, you still have a responsibility. Like, I don't want to be like a person of interest to people, but I am. Like, it's literally my job to be, I love like being like in the center of attention. Of course, I'm a singer in a band. Of course, I love that. But I could do without, like there is no real attention when you're sitting alone in your room. Like, you guys, I see you now and it's amazing. But when I stream, like all of these names are just names on the list that is like scrolling, and all the chat and everything. There's no faces, there's no pictures, there's no real people. And the moment where you sit there and you realize, wait, 5,000 people did watch my video like last week, that's crazy. Imagine 5,000 people in one spot. Like all of them went to your concert, even though it was for free, but 5,000 people decided to come. That is insane. And that was the point where I said, it's pretty awesome what I do. And I can be pretty happy to do that for a living.
This is actually a great topic to move into my next question too. So this is perfect. You've set me up.
Pure coincidence.
Yeah. So like what qualities have you observed either through yourself or other content creators that make for that great content?
Ooh, that's a very, very deep question, actually. I think for me, as I said, it was the point where I realized the energy that I want to put out for myself. And it wasn't as much as I would watch my content. I would, but it's weird. Like, imagine watching yourself and your mom walks in. That's just weird, It's just strange. No, but it's of course I like from time to time check in on my content to see. But I think like the most important part is to be entertaining. That for me was, for me personally, the most important part. There's people in the Magic community that don't care about that at all. Like they will say, I prefer a calm, collected Legend VD where I never see the face, where he's just like, okay, this is bad that it happened, but now I can do this and this. People love that also, you know. He's like
Mhm.
one of the most successful content creators out there for a reason. Then there's people like MTG Arena Original Decks that is like taking it over the top. Like he was always like I, I like the guy. Okay, we talk to each other a lot and we wrote, but he's still like an edgelord kind of guy, you know. Like if he can push a button, he will push that button, and that worked for people. Like his videos had 200,000 views. You know, his channel is 100,000 people strong, so that's still pretty good. And not still, that's actually pretty darn amazing. And but that's not for everyone. I could never talk about MILF stories or whatever, you know, and just have that as my personality. I could never do that. I think that finding like who you want to be is very important. And it's crazy. I still remember I had a dream once where I was talking in my dream to Mono Black Magic. And it was like, I love how you approach things. And I also want to be like funny and entertaining and all of that. But I'm afraid that, you know, people will just see you and say, oh, he's just doing the same thing. And in my dream, he came to me and said, just do it, man. Just do it. Just do your thing. And it's crazy. I know it's weird to talk about that and, oh, I had this dream and everything. But that actually was a very important moment in my life that happened only in my head, where I told myself via his like spirit in my dream that I want to do this in the way I do it. And I think for me, I found this. And I think it's very important for people that they find what people find entertaining, because you also have to realize there is no algorithm. There's only people. And if people say, oh, the algorithm hates me and whatever, listen, if there's like 10 people that like your content and all 10 of them will push the like button and leave a comment telling you that it was amazing, YouTube is like, ooh, these people liked what he did. Next time we're going to show his video to 50 people and see what happens. And then after that, maybe to 500. And that is something that is that you always have to keep in mind, that especially if you're doing gameplay videos like I do, it's very niche. And I could do like videos like Spice 8 Rack, where I talk about magic history and stuff like that, or I could do videos like The Professor and all of that, and that will reach every Magic player. Not only those that want to
Yep.
play Standard, but that will reach every Magic player. And if you want to make money from it, maybe think about, should I maybe do content like this? If you go in the lazy route like I do and you just do content on gameplay, I mean, hey, what do you expect? You know, like 500,000 people each day watching your videos ain't going to happen. So, yeah. And I know that people like Ristic Studies, they don't only live from their YouTube content. That's impossible. Even if their
Right.
videos are doing very well, but it's not like their only source of income, because they invest like a month into writing a video, into making a video. And then in the end, it will have like, even if it's like 1 million views, it's going to be good money, but they still can't count on it. So they will still have like a normal job and everything. So yeah, but for
That's
me,
it.
full
It's
time.
funny. You named so many different YouTubers that I've spent quite a bit of time watching their
They're the
videos,
best.
right? You know, and weekly, right? I'll be watching Shuffle and Play. Sam comes up with something really interesting on magic history, like the Minotaur stuff more
Oh
recently,
yeah.
right?
Oh
I
yeah. Or
mean,
the video about lantern control. That for me
I,
was mind blowing, because it's a
it,
time of Magic where I didn't play Magic. So for me, it
it,
was
it's
absolutely mind blowing.
it's
Yeah.
all just great stuff, and you're right, they put a lot of effort into it. Spice 8 Rack and his 2-hour video on Universes Beyond inspired our episode 3 podcast for me,
Insane.
talking about the lack of immersion and everything. So these people are being reached, to your point, and if you put something out there that people are interested in, someone's going to find it eventually.
That's true. I mean, you still have to put in work. You still have to advertise a little bit for yourself.
Yep.
When I started doing content, I posted my videos daily in 3 different Facebook groups, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Just Magic Facebook groups where I was like, this is the new deck, this is the new deck, this is the new deck. Just the same post, just in 3 groups, you know? And if there was like, I saw the numbers. There were like maybe 5 people from each group watching, but there was 15 people that I reached
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere, you know? And yeah, then it was like, also, you know how many people told me that I speak too much, that I'm too loud, that I will never achieve anything. Like literally people go to your comment section and say the most deranged things just because nobody will ever, you know, like check them, you know, like
Yeah.
there just is no balances. And for example, if there's a person like that leaves a comment and says, this is a garbage deck, no other like comment and that is why, you know, the people is like, has a criticism like with sustenance, where it says like, okay, you know, the deck is not really good against this deck because maybe you should put in this card or whatever. But if there's people that are just like, this is a garbage deck, I hate this deck, F this deck, you know, just
Keyboard warriors,
just
right?
block these
Just a
people. Just block
faceless
these people.
person.
Yeah,
Yep.
just block these people. They will never contribute anything positive to your content or your content creation or your community or the game itself. I mean, also spoke to these people before, and I realized no matter what you say, no matter who gets behind you and tell those people that they're wrong or whatever, they don't care. They're just there to feel good about making you feel bad. And that is something that you absolutely have to learn. If you see like people like criticizing you with no sustenance, those are just like people that you don't need. Just, yeah, give them a boot. Just get out of here. That is
Get
something.
out of here.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like-
also
it's
get
like-
catchphrases, you know. That is also
Yeah.
important for content creation. Like I started with some catchphrases and people liked it and it got stuck, and now I have like stuff that I just can't stop saying, and it's you know, it's just what people expect. So
That's what makes you, though.
It
is
Exactly.
You
It is.
discover
Exactly.
that you do have a catchphrase, that you do have something you say. That's what makes Malone Malone.
like the intro always the same, you know, so people just feel welcome. And that for me is the most important part, that people are entertained, feel welcome. And even if I banter, you know, even if I tell people that they're weak spaghetti and I have my spaghetti cam and all of that, it's just for good fun, you know. It's I played against somebody and he scooped and I was like, that's right, you're a weakling. And he was like, dude, we just played. Why do you have to talk to me that way? And I was like, come on, man, it's banter, you know. I'm here to entertain people. If you can't take it, then maybe this stream is
Magic's
not for you.
probably not the game for you then at that point.
No.
No, it can be. It can be. Like, imagine in a tournament, I would not do that, okay?
No.
If somebody at a tournament would scoop, I would not be like, oh, get out of here. I'm the cream of the crop, you know? I would just like Hollywood Hulk Hogan you out of here or whatever. That will not happen, you know? But like on stream, you know, I'm doing it for the people, not for me.
So, kind of a different question. How does one? Because you just had your preview card for Duskmorn. How did you get that? Did you like have to go to them? Did they come to you?
The first preview card I got, like, it's crazy. Like, we have this very hardworking community manager for the German community that I know, and she's an amazing person and she puts in a lot of work. And if I were doing content in German that was as successful as I'm doing in English, I would be like getting a preview card every time, like every single
Wow.
time. But she can't help me. She literally told me, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you but to give your name to other people. And then there was this equivalent in England, so also for Europe, but English speaking. Then back then, like 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Yes, 2 years ago when Brothers War came out, I got the Philogy Dragon Engine as my first preview card. So I came back from Canada. We took a trip for 3 weeks to Canada. I came back on a Thursday. Friday, I was just chilling. And Saturday, I got the card. And on Sunday was the day where I should preview it. And on Monday, I went to Vegas for the first time in my life to a MagicCon. So yeah, I sat down and I recorded the first song that I ever did. And I was like, okay, when they see this, they will always give me a preview card forever for every set.
Yeah.
Then since then, 2 years have passed, and you know how many sets came out? It was like 25 sets.
4 billion.
5,000?
4
Yeah.
billion sets.
4 billion and a half at least. So
Yeah.
I did not get a single preview card. I asked them. I sent them messages. I asked the woman like from Germany if she can help me out, if she can like point me to some direction or whatever. And it was always like no shot. Like you can't reach anyone. Just imagine it's a multi-billion-dollar company. You sent them a letter. Who's going to read it? Who's going to freaking read your freaking letter? Nobody's going to read your letter. Like, yeah, nice try, butterfly. It's not going to happen, you know? You just sit there and you're like, why don't they see me? Why do they see everyone but not me? Then they have this ambassador program that does not care about anything but North America. And you're just sitting there and thinking to yourself, why don't they see me? Why am I the only one left out? And then there's so many people that are left out, you know, and you still only see yourself. So then there's now this company that is taking care of Europe, more or less, for all the like everything that is like helping with content creators. If there's product to be sent out so that people can like, you know, showcase the product, at least they send me that also. So I cannot really complain. I did not get a preview card, but I got like promotional packages. So here's a commander deck and 6 packs. Just put out a picture and was like, yeah, I already have this commander deck, but whatever. And I was still happy, you know, like they at least recognized that I exist. And I actually sent them an email. And I was like, look, this is the video I once did. I already worked with Wizards together. These are the videos I did. I also had like this Modern Horizons 3 hype video that I did where I put in a lot of work. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was stupid. It was about the streamer early access event. And I did like this whole skit with a Johnny and everything. It was funny, you know? And I sent them that. And so this time they were like, okay, yeah, we would like to send you a card. I was like, finally, freaking finally, F you. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make like the best video ever out of it. And so they sent me the card and it was a black card and was like, oh yeah. And it was
Perfect.
this sporogenic infection.
Yeah.
And so I sat down for like 2 whole days, searched out like a song on like royalty-free music, like I always do, because I cannot ask my band to be buttered for anything. And then I wrote lyrics. I recorded it on my own, like with my crappy microphone setup and everything. I literally recorded on OBS, and then I put it
Okay.
into Audacity. And then I had to find out how do you even put on a click into Audacity and all of that. And then I matched everything, and I did like 3 different tracks for the hook and everything. And it was like so much work. And I was like, I still need a video. And then the video was done in like an hour. Like the recording of the video was done in an hour. And then I sat down and I like edited everything myself.
Wow.
Yeah, like, and that took me like another 2 hours. And it's so much fun. Like I really, really loved it. And for me, it was like, I want to make a video that makes, I know it sounds like I'm being a douche here, but I want to make a video that makes every other content creator feel like they didn't do enough. That is what I want to do every single time.
That's what I thought when I saw it.
That's
you see it.
That's
what
the
I
impact
thought when
it
I
made. Yeah.
yeah. Like I absolutely like. Also, like when I did the hype video, they were like, "Oh, you don't have to do too much. Like we like just do whatever. It's fine." And I was like, "No, I'm going to demolish that video. Like I'm going to put so much energy and effort in it that if there's anything they need, and the other content creators are not doing it, they will be like, yeah, it was nice, but it was not as good as Malone's video, And that is what I want. Like you have to like. I'm very competitive. Like in a certain way. Like I grew up with 2 brothers. I grew up with the Nintendo 64 or the Nintendo in general that had 4 plugins for controllers. All of the games were made to beat each other up. So my mom came down in the room we were playing because she thought that we were fighting, but we were actually just playing Mario Kart. So stuff like that, And I love the competition. And this is my only way to compete with other content creators with content. Like there's of course stuff, and that's what I also want to talk about, like a Commander show. I could never do a Commander show at home, like for example CGB does it, or like Brian Kibler does it.
Yeah.
They're like low budgety still. I mean, they still invest a lot of money, but the quality that you have to put into that is just so much. And you have to have people that are invested, that are just as good in front of the camera as you are, and all of that. That is the reason why I say, okay, I can never achieve that kind of quality. I'm not doing that. Just not doing that.
You also need like studio space or another room in your home or
I would
wherever.
have the room.
Right?
I would have the room, but just imagine like you need a stand over your table where you have a perfect camera that whatever happens sees everything in super high resolution. Then you need 2 more cameras in the back of each player team, like then you need 4 microphones that are working well. Then you need an editor that knows actually what is happening on the table, that, effects, all of that. It's so much work. It's just not worth it for me personally. Like not yet.
Totally understand that, especially as someone who went to college for communications, audio, video, digital media is what it was really called. I understand that fully in the work. And that's also why, my setup is as good as it is to start, because I didn't want to mess around, knowing exactly what you said earlier, right? If I join a Twitch stream of 4 people on Spell Table playing Commander, I want ours to be better looking, better sounding quality. I want ours to be as good a quality as we can get for the small time streamer that I am, because maybe you'll stick around because it looks good, because you can see the cards, because it flows right and everything. And I guess the takeaway from that is knowing what you should be doing and putting that effort into, and knowing what's just not attainable based on what's out there, what you're willing to put into, hours in the day, editor to your point. I mean, you could get an editor. If they don't know Magic the Gathering, if they don't know nuances, ins, outs, lines of play, you name it, you're going to have a crappy video.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is absolutely right. But only just as an example of exactly that, the Commander show by Veggie Wagon and Nerd Girl, Top Deck Studios, I forgot what the Commander show it's called. Doesn't matter. I'm so bad with names anyways. He put so much work, like Veggie Wagon, they put so much work in the whole like editing and everything. And it sticks with people. Like there's humor in the editing. There's like so much stuff where it just goes a little further than it needs to go, where people would already be all right with it.
Right.
But this little piece that you're going further, that is where people will be like, oh yeah, heck yeah, I like that. I will stick around for that. And that is how you have to do it. And I could never put in the work. Like I do streams almost every day, videos every day. I have 2 dogs that need to be walked. I love cooking. So I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, actually. I am a trophy wife, kind of. So yeah, that is what I do.
It's funny that you say that, because like and this kind of leads into my next question. You're focused on heavy metal and stuff, like with your intro and like the skulls and stuff. That's what drew me to you, because that's the type of stuff I listen to. And then
nobody does that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly.
And it comes naturally to me. It's not like I I force heavy metal down people's throat. Like if you come to my channel, you won't be screamed in your ear by some death metal bands.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen, you know.
But
yeah.
like, and Bob can attest to that. Like early on, when I first watched you, because obviously you weren't streaming at first, but your YouTube videos, I'm like, dude, this guy has like the exact same taste in music as I do, and he plays Magic. You got to watch this guy. So, but that leads me to the next question: is what is your favorite band at the moment?
At the moment, I never have like a top one favorite band, but when I grew
who's
up,
on repeat right now in your headphones?
no one, literally no one is on repeat. What I listen to a lot is actually the because it's like, I don't know why, but when we have friends over for Commander or for tabletop gaming in general, like board games, I put on like the Stevie Ray Vaughan concert from Tokyo. I think it's 78. It's just like one of my favorite concerts ever. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan, like for me, was a god. Like absolutely. I saw that concert. Like my dad was always like, "Oh, you have to listen to this. You have to listen to that." I was whatever. And then there was this one moment, and I was a friend of mine from Canada. Like he was in our class for a year, like exchange student, but only one-sided, so there was no exchange. He just came over for a year, and he sat in the class with a Metallica shirt. I was like, "Dude, you're going to be so lonely in this class. Come sit with me, you know?" Because like me and the friend that was sitting next to me, me and her were the only people listening to rock in the whole like class, you know. So we became very good friends. And we were sitting there. We were like, you know, a little bit like drinking and stuff like that. And we watched this concert because I was like, yeah, but let's just put this on. And I sat there and I watched Stevie Ray Vaughan play, and I was like, damn, I want that. And that was when I started playing, like doing more than just playing the violin. And because I played the violin back then, and I started playing guitar and making a band and whatever. So that is something that I listen to. Then I have the weird coincidence also from Tokyo, Dream Theater concert live from Budokan. This concert sticks with me since like 15 years now. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, this is insane. This is just such an insane concert. And I just let it like run in the background. Then I have the Seattle concert from Metallica that I really love, like from the live Ass Binged and Purged, all of that, you know. But yeah, I also listen to a lot of Slipknot. I love Slipknot. Like I went to a Metallica concert. I actually had to repeat a grade in school because I preferred going to the Metallica concert instead of taking a test that I should have taken. And it was already like the repeat of the test because the first one I failed. And it was like, I will give you one more chance to take the test. And I didn't show up.
And you said Metallica.
Yeah. And I saw Metallica, and the band before Metallica was Slipknot. And I didn't know Slipknot before. I was like, oh, they're super aggressive. I don't like that. I stood there in the crowd and was like, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the energy, all of that is unmatched. So yeah, that's when, but also like System of a Down, you know, I know all of these bands. Like when I was younger, I also listened to a lot of like In Flames, Soilwork, stuff like that. But I don't enjoy it too much anymore. Like for no particular reason, I just like other music more. And so, yeah, I'm very much into this kind of rock, but also like blues, jazz. I love like Kurt Elling. For me, is one of the best singers in the world. I actually like was part of I went to a summer camp from the Berkeley Music School in Italy when they were there, which is one of the biggest music schools in the world. And I like took a summer class there, and it was only jazz. So I really love all kinds of music as long as it's good and not too cheesy. Like it has to be a very, very good cheesy song for me to like it. But like the bands that I love, like usually are good bands with very good musicians. Like that is something that I really enjoy.
It's my personally, like from a guitar perspective, what really hit me was, this is going to sound cheesy, is Creed when they came out with their second album.
Creed
Mark
was
Tremonti.
my gateway drug to rock, actually.
Yeah,
I listened to hip hop, and then I listened to Creed, and then from there on out, I was like, hey, rock music is pretty cool. And then somebody gave me the Reload from Metallica, and I was like, oh, rock music is actually pretty darn cool.
I will actually be going to a Creed concert Wednesday night.
Nice.
Yep.
Very excited for that. It's been very long time since I've seen them.
I'd never seen them. Like I think they already split up when I started listening to them. And also like Jamiroquai. Man, I love Jamiroquai, stuff like that.
Oh wow, that's a throwback.
Man, I saw them live, and it was one of the best concerts I ever saw. So yeah. I think music is one of these things. Yeah, sorry.
The best concert I ever saw is Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Like they come
do put
here,
on a show.
They come here every winter. They come up to upstate New York, and it's like the lights and the fire and the lasers and the music. It's like, this is the most epic thing I've ever seen.
And you're already in the holiday spirit, and they just
Yep.
kindle that even further, right? They stoke the holiday flames. You are ready for Christmas the second you walk out the door of that concert.
Are you ready for
man.
Christmas? Yeah, but I love music in general. Like, if it's good music, it's good music. Like, my little brother, he's a German rapper. And my best friend from childhood times, still back then, he's one of the biggest German rappers there is. Like, he's like literally has videos where I'm in the videos because we did them like with, little things that have like 12 million views and stuff like that. It's insane. So I also am into that. Like, if the new Eminem album, for example, I listened to it like 3 or 4 times in a row. It's like, this is just insane. Like, the way, like, everything that happening is so insane. Like, the lyrics, how he raps, all of that. And I think it's very important to be open to everything, because if you close yourself to a certain aspect of the world, you don't have to like it, but at least try it, or look at it and decide for yourself if that is something that you can morally agree to, because there's still things in the world happening where you just like morally say, no, I'm out. But if it comes to art, just at least look at it and then decide for yourself. But you
Right.
should never say no way. I listened to Taylor Swift, and I was like, no way, because I listened to it. But it was not like, oh, I will not listen to it at
Right.
all just because
Right.
it's Taylor freaking Swift. I don't care. I just listen to it and then decide for yourself, damn, this is just borderline garbage. I will
It's not for
listen to
me.
this.
Swifties, don't come after us.
Oh, this is the official opinion of this podcast. I heard it. Wasn't that what you sent me in the notes? Please talk bad about
That's
the
it.
Swifties.
That's definitely it. So I realize your time is running low here because you have
I'm good. I
awesome
still
other
have like
things
10,
to do
10,
tonight.
15 minutes if you need me. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah, so like you're mostly known, obviously, as you said, as a standard Magic the Gathering arena player. I've seen you jam some historic on arena, especially when you guys had some of those fun, were they charity tournaments or something
Stuff
like that?
Yeah.
Is Commander your actual second favorite format? Is it? I'm assuming Standard is probably your go-to right now, or is that just by default?
Standard is by default, I would say. Like, I prefer Standard on Arena because it's like the least frustrating format most of the times, depending on the meta. Sorry, but if you play Historic, you would play against the same 2 decks that are so overpowered. If you play anything else, you just lose. Timeless, sorry, but when Show and Tell came into Timeless, you could never play Timeless again. Explorer, you just play against nothing but Phoenix and Wizards. I mean, it's fine, but it's just not for me. Standard, of course, I play best of 1. It's my own fault, blah, blah, blah. People can shame me for it, just like not playing best of 3, whatever. I play best of 3 in my free time, like also on stream sometimes. Like today I played some best of 3.
Yep.
And of course, Standard has a huge problem with Mono Red right now because it's just way too powerful. Like, the explosiveness of Mono Red, they just need to achieve it once and they win, If you're in a best of 3, okay, they have to achieve it twice and you can sideboard better and whatever. But yeah, like in best of 1, Mono Red is just like the scourge right now. You encounter it all the time. I played 6 games today. 4 of them has been against Mono Red. And they always, like, if they don't win on turn 3, they win on turn 4, and there is nothing you can do about it. So yeah, of course, I love Commander. Absolutely love Commander, because you go to people you have never met before, and you will know them after 2 or 3 games of Commander, depending on what commanders they play, how they build their decks, how they interact with the table, all of that. So it's such a social format that I really love. But I also love, like, I went to a tournament in, where was it? I forget, it's not important, but it's somewhere in Europe. I was also like invited by Ultimate Guard to go there, so they paid for my ticket. That's it. And I played Modern for the very first time, and I was like, I will not spend $500 only on lands. So what can I build?
Yeah.
And I talked to a friend. He was like, just play Mono Red Burn.
I was just going to say that's the Modern deck for cheap.
Okay, yeah, let's play Mono Red Burn. And I went to this event. I never played a single game, not a single game of Modern, and I won my first game. I still have like the paper piece where I wrote my life total on it. I still have it back there as a memory. I won the first game. The second game, they put me on the casting table, so I was sitting there and I lost against Mono Blue Tron, which was such a crazy deck. And yeah, I went 3-6 on my first tournament. And then as I played the second Modern tournament, I went 6-3. I was 1 win away from making day 2. And it was like people like Gabriel Nassif standing next to me, just shaking his ass, looking like me, like, why are you playing mono red? Also, when I raid him, he's like, yeah, he's a mono red modern player. Don't take him against him. He's like a nice guy and everything. I'm like, come on, screw you, man. It's just like I couldn't achieve anything else. We can all be like high rollers like you. So I think I would enjoy every format. If you give me the deck, I would enjoy every format.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to spend 500 to 1,500 euros on a deck that maybe is irrelevant in like a year. You know, that's just nothing that I want to do. I would go as far as spend like 100, 150 for a deck for a year, having fun for a year for 150 euros. That's like what, $10 a year, $10 a month plus some change.
Yeah.
That's all right. You know, look how much I spend on food. You know, that's absolutely all right. But I think more is just you have to like really have an investment there. Like if you're an investing person, then okay. But for the rest, I think every format can be enjoyable. But I would say Commander is by far my favorite because it's casual. You just sit down with whomever, and it's so nice. Like I sat down with Tomer from Goldfish, and he played like a deck, and I was like, I would have never come up with this deck. I would have never. And you can only do that in Commander. Like this kind of, I would have never come up with this, only works in Commander.
Jank, yeah.
Exactly.
That's my Commander philosophy. I'm going to jam some stuff together and that has some synergy and hope that it happens. Hope that I do the thing, right? if I have a game of Commander and I get to do the thing, it doesn't matter if I win, lose, become a spectator really quickly. I just want to do the thing.
I like
you and Jesse.
But
I like winning.
But to be fair, like I did not put, for example, a Concordant Crossroads in my mono green deck. Even though if I had it in, I would have won like 10 more games.
It's in mine.
Because I thought I still want to work for it, you know? I still want to give the other people a chance. Because this deck would win every single game if I had Concordant Crossroads in, and would just win every single game.
Wait, is this a Galta deck?
Galta Stampede Tyrant, yes, the new one.
That's what mine is.
I have it right here. I played with it like Leslie, and it was like I would have won on that turn if I had a Concordant Crossroads. If I had it, you know? I draw like a million cards. And I just like, no, I want to work for it, you know? I want people to have still a chance to beat me.
You hear that, Jesse?
Yeah.
Please update your degenerate Galta deck by removing Concordant Crossroad.
Nope.
Jesse, actually, we ended up having two people at the table that shut him down with Spore Frogs so that they could just recur over and over.
Yeah.
So Jesse decided, screw it, I'm just going to deck myself. I'll show you guys. I'm going to draw 57 cards in a turn.
One turn, I drew 57.
And he did. And that's I think one of the best things about Commander is because you can do stuff like that, and you didn't win, but you didn't lose,
but you had fun.
You still had it your way.
Yeah, exactly.
So one last question I have for you that's actually not on here. As we're wrapping up here, tell us where we can find you. Give yourself a good plug, even though we're just this small podcast, but tell us where we can find you. Tell us what you're all about. And I want you to end this with your outro that you do on stream.
Oh, you want my outro?
I want your outro.
I love your outro. It's so positive.
Let me look straight into your eyes while I'm doing it. So you can find me on YouTube mostly, MTG Malone. You can find me there. You can find me on Twitch, MTG Malone. Like if you just search for MTG Malone, everything that is not Post Malone is me. You can find me on Twitter, where I sometimes post stuff I'm not like really into. I use it mostly as like when I'm sitting on the toilet, to be honest. You can find me on Instagram, actually, where I like to post like my pulls from packs and everything, like in my stories. You can find me there. And that's mostly it. And that is, I think, all I have to say. And I don't know if people can leave a comment down below, but if they can, like maybe put down a little gamer dad Malone down in the comments, I would appreciate that very freaking much. And remember, my friends, that if you're waking up tomorrow morning and see the beautiful, beautiful face of yours in the mirror, that all of you are pretty freaking sweet. We're the Gamer Dad Podcast, and we will see you all tomorrow.